And welcome to another episode of the RedLeafRetrocast, Anime Edition. JD here. We are discussing Jin-Roh, the Wolf Brigade, on our retro anime review. Joined here with the full cast and guest from the Retro Gaming cast, Colin.
Hello.
How you doing? Okay. Man of many words. Tori, you're also here.
You just said...
I am kind of
You just
here.
said I'm here. Did you ask something else?
I mean, you could tell us why you're here, why you wanted to be on it. The floor is yours.
I just thought I'd come on because this is a movie I've seen, which is more than I can say for a lot of the other stuff you guys cover, so I thought it'd be fun to weigh in.
Fair enough. Tori, you're almost done with exams, finally.
Yeah, I've got 3 more to go, and I'm gonna have them all of those 3 exams in, 4 days. So, yay!
Have you become the god of high school yet?
I became the god of high school a long time ago.
Oh. Are you set to defend that title?
He is the god of high school. Why? He never leaves.
Yeah. Why is he the god of high school? Well, I tried to leave, but they refused to give me my degree.
Yeah. So here we are. Oh, well, hopefully this time it'll all work out okay, and I can finally move on, and I can become the god of being average,
Unemployed.
I guess. The god of unemployment. The god of the unemployment line. The god of fucking... I don't know. We'll see.
I was the god of paying rent this morning. Ugh, there's a big adult flex right there.
Yeah. I was the god of paying rent in before. Sorry, you paid too little?
You forgot that $25 community fee. Ah, fuck. Hate that thing.
I was the god of doing laundry yesterday.
Ah, that's lame. That's not godly.
That's not godly.
Separating colors like a ball.
Oh no, I threw a red in with the whites. It's over.
The hunt for the missing sock.
Hickey,
Yes.
what do you got? What are you the god of this week?
I'm the god of doing freelance work. I've been working yesterday. I'll be working today after the podcast, and I'll be working tomorrow night as well.
Oh no.
Yeah,
That's
it's
a
fine.
hard feeling.
Nah, it's okay. They're paying me. That's more than enough.
I had to go into work the day after American Thanksgiving. And there's a total of 8 of us there in the entire building of 100. And I'm just looking into space, just going, why the fuck am I here? I was so mad.
Sounds like my work week. Not much was happening. I spent most of that time watching Invader Zim on YouTube.
Yeah, I've been also watching stuff on YouTube during work, but I shouldn't.
Why aren't you guys on that Disney Plus train?
Because I don't...
To get all your information stolen off their shitty service.
Yeah, there's nothing on there that I want to see, and you know.
You
But
don't want to
the
rewatch
Baby
your
Yoda
child... You don't want to rewatch your childhood favorites?
No, I don't have childhood. My childhood favorites is Captain Tsubasa. I don't need I don't need fucking Disney Plus to watch that.
What a fucking weeb, okay?
I mean, the other one, Sailor Moon, but I guess that is out of the list after some revising.
But you guys did hear about the people ganking IDs and information off Disney Plus and selling them online.
I don't know if I have.
I love how it's not even all of it that's sold online. Literally, just
Jesus,
to prove
Kat.
a point, people would literally fucking take people's information and accounts and then just list them up on the fucking web for free. Like, here you go. You want a Disney Plus account? You got one.
Sounds like Fallout 76 all over again.
Oh my god, I hate Bethesda. Fuck that. God damn it. No, they're bad. They're really bad.
But
I
Tori,
hate that still people are giving them.
No,
it doesn't. That's the problem. It doesn't. It literally doesn't. Even when they tried to fucking be, okay, fine, we're gonna fix everything. We're gonna give back people. We're gonna give out stuff as an apology. And they can't even do that.
Yep.
They fucked that up.
What a company.
It's the gift that just keeps on giving, as far as laughs are concerned.
I mean,
It
yeah, I
certainly
can
does
laugh.
make
I
me
don't give
laugh.
them money. I'm never buying another fucking Bethesda game ever again. That ship was fucking safe.
Yeah, it's gonna have to be like a 95 out of 100.
Even
Minimum.
then, nah.
With user reviews, not the critics.
With user
Because
reviews.
the critics will give it a 95 out of
Oh, hell yeah.
100.
Oh.
Don Howard doesn't
for
have
fuck's
any
sake.
ethics to not pay journalists. to give his games.
Pokemon Sun and Moon got tense across the fucking board. Not Sun and Moon, fucking Sword and Shield. Got tense across the goddamn board.
Oh, boy.
I don't give a shit if you fucking are the biggest Pokemon fanboy of all time. That game is not a 10 out of 10, even if you like it.
Sounds a bit like the Death Stranding review debacle. It seems like a lot of reviewers were scared to give it a lower score. Because when people did give it a lower score,
like
people attacked them.
Oh my god, just me trying to explain to my mom, like, yeah, there's a lot of sites out there that gave this game high reviews. A lot of people are now giving it Game of the Year, and she goes, well, they're stupid.
Well, that's true.
Like, well, I can't really argue with that.
Sound
She's like, when
logic.
does this game get good? And I go, I don't know, I've played 10 hours, and it's still the same thing. I proceed to explain, like, the rest of it, and she goes, well, that's really stupid. I'm like, and seeing that thought right there is why it's not Game of the Year.
Boy.
I tried to get her to play Pokemon in German, but she wasn't having that.
Oh, I wonder why.
Yeah, I wonder why. it's like she doesn't know German.
How absurd.
I think it had more to do with, I don't want to play Pokemon. I watched you play that enough as a kid. I was like, yeah, it's still the same game. He goes, exactly.
Sure is. Just way more broken and way less stuff included.
So I watched more Isekai Wrestler. Rise Up.
Oh shit.
Komodo
You're still
Michi
watching
or
that?
whatever it's called. I watched 2 more episodes, thank you.
Good.
You believe that? You believe that shit?
No.
I did. I am a man of my word. I just had to take, I guess, last podcast off.
I just
my
needed
pain.
a lot of beer and a lot of alcohol, but I did it. I succeeded.
I see. Taking the same approach as the author does. Got it.
Oh boy.
Well, I watched 3 episodes, 5, 6, and 7, and I gotta say, story-wise, like nothing happened.
No way. Really?
Yeah, it was like 3 minutes of something remotely funny and like not filler happening, and then we'd move on. So like episode 5 was about Animal Mask's quote-unquote rival, whom he always beats, called Mao. And this was funny. Like, he's having kind of this existential crisis of his rival leaving and ducking him during the match, aka getting sent to the other world, and has really sad music. He's, like, walking in the rain, and he's obsessed. He's all sad. He's like, I lost my rival. What will I ever do? I'll never... You know, he's in the press conference, all upset. Making fun of wrestling being too serious. I laughed, and then it proceeded to skip all that. He was summoned to another world by this demon chick, and then the rest of the episode was nothing. It was just them going out and going hunting for plant creatures or whatever. So yeah, episode 5, thumbs down. A funny 3 minutes, and then not after that. Episode 6 was kind of out of nowhere. It was this weird backstory of the dragon chick with her useless servant. It just showed like the one-sided relationship rivalry in its own of the dragon chick and the demon chick that summoned the other wrestler dude, and how the dragon chick is strong, but she has an undying loyalty to her useless servant. So, I guess it was sort of heartfelt, but really didn't do anything for me. It seemed utterly pointless in the end. And then episode 7 was this lizard girl whom only has the reptile scales on her stomach and back, and of course, she's well endowed.
Yes, that is important.
That is very important. They do some goofy training montages of each of the useless people training her in a task that they're more familiar with. So Shigure teaches her how to run. That was like the most useful skill. But you can't teach someone how to run. You just do it a bunch, right? Train your legs. Go. Dragon Chick is like, just eat them. Pretty much, haha. Vampire Useless Girl goes, do a sexy pose. I guess that got a small pop the first time. But then she does it like 3 more times. And then the wrestler teaches her how to German suplex a tree. This led to a fight among the mock battle among the other guilds guys who were giving her picking on her, and she German suplexed the dude, and then they have amends of it all, basically. So not a lot of comedy, nothing was really funny. Everything seemed pointless. I didn't like these 3 episodes, guys. I felt like I was wasting my time.
No way. Wasting your time
Yes
with
way.
Isekai wrestler? Never thought that would happen.
There's not enough of the... It's like the same joke over and over again in every episode. The same one. Like, it was funny in episode 1, I guess. And then it's just repeat. And now they're just introducing a new character, but it's the same joke, basically.
Yeah, don't worry. So. There will be some story development in episode 8. Actually, I'm not joking. Just a little bit.
Yeah, it had this dude with glasses walking around. He basically wants to start a wrestling promotion.
Yep.
So it did have the funny line of him. He's crossing his arms at the table, listening to this dude speak, and he goes, "Oh, my muscles are tingling in anticipation of the battles ahead. Oh, my wrestler instinct is taking over. I need to perform for the crowd." So I'm like, okay, that's the jokes that we need. So I guess we're gonna get half animal hybrid wrestling matches. So that might get interesting. Maybe. I'm sure it'll still be the same jokes in the end. Anybody else watching the show? Hickey, you watching it?
Of course I'm watching. I'm watching it.
You're still watching it?
Yeah. Right. I don't have a reason to stop.
Okay.
Hickey's excuse for anything. I don't have a reason to stop.
I don't have a reason to stop. I mean, there's life and work, and could masturbate in the corner. I'm gonna watch Rise Up Isekai Wrestler.
Tori, we came to the same dilemma again. God damn it. The jerking off dilemma.
See?
On one hand,
it always goes there.
Right?
It always goes there.
On one hand, you have jerking off. On the other hand, finding a job. Of course, you're gonna pick up jerking off because it's more productive.
Oh, you're not wrong.
All right, shall we move on to Tori's quest, or does anybody else got some random things we want to talk about?
I'll talk about what anime I've had time to watch in between working and Death Stranding.
Ooh.
I've watched 5 episodes of Kimetsu no Yaiba.
Oh, that show.
From where to where?
Episode 1 to 5.
Okay. All right, the beginning, I see. A good way to start. Okay.
I like starting.
No, I like
the
starting my anime midway through seasons.
I mean, yeah, JD, you actually do. You're the fucking king.
True.
I'm just gonna pick up second season.
It's the Saturday morning
You
cartoon
actually
approach.
do.
I don't care.
Yeah,
Go on, Colin.
I'm enjoying it so far. I mean, I got curious after seeing that its manga had outsold One Piece recently, so I figured I had to check it out.
It outsold 1 volume of One Piece.
Yes.
Okay.
Hey, anything that outsells One Piece has to be doing something right in any capacity.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm liking it.
I'm keeping my mouth shut on it. I'm trying anyways.
I mean,
Not doing a good job.
No, I'm not.
Main character is pretty standard, but I still find him fairly likable. And I'm fairly invested in his quest to get his sister back to being human. And I'm liking the action and the animation.
Yeah, the animation's good.
That part's
Real
good.
It's not completely blowing my mind.
It was
but...
really worth fucking evading taxes for.
Oh boy.
Bravo, Tori.
It's like, well, what do you do with your best show? You use it to wash money.
And like I said earlier, I've been watching Invader Zim at work on YouTube. The YTV network has their own YouTube channel. For those who don't know, that's a Canadian, like, older kids network. Basically, they've got every episode of Invader Zim on there, free to watch. So I've been watching it, and oh boy, is it a weird show! It's like it can go in some pretty dark directions sometimes. I mean, there's a whole episode where Zim goes around stealing various kids' vital organs and replacing them with garbage.
I remember that episode.
That was super weird.
It's called recycling, Colin. Maybe someday you Canadians will learn how to do that. Not unlike us Americans, kings of recycling.
We already do that. Unfortunately, our clients out in Asia have cut us off.
Now all the trash must be sent to Saskatchewan with all the rest.
Oh, shots fired.
It's okay, no one lives there. Don't even have a hockey team.
Best you can say is that they don't do daylight savings.
They don't?
Yeah, they decided to opt out of it.
Just Saskatchewan?
There might be some other parts of Canada, but that's the only one that comes to mind.
Oh, I'm so jealous. I hate daylight savings time
Yeah,
so
Yeah,
much.
we cut it off again as well. It is great. I don't need to wake up early.
There's literally no point to it.
Yep, that's why we're never gonna get rid of it.
Yeah, it seems to be low on...
It's like the one
Norway,
United States,
the
Arizona.
kingdom of efficiency.
Yeah, it's...
Just cut off your main source of income and industry as well. Keep the daylight savings.
Yep. Efficient.
Oh, boy.
All right, let's move on to Tori's
Alrighty.
quest then.
Sure.
Yes, I think it's time. I think it's appropriate. Tori, do you want that Attack on Titan one again?
Yeah.
Done. Get your wish. Go for it, buddy.
Alright. Okay, so now we have gotten all the way to I on my quest, which means that what I'm going to be talking about today is a little show called Ima Soko ni Iru Boku, aka Now and Then, Here and There.
Oh, yes. Beautiful.
Yes, beautiful. This, let's see here. This 13-episode series from 1999 was produced by AIC and directed by Akitaro Daichi. What a name. And he has done such amazing work as the original Fruits Basket.
Ooh.
Was it that amazing, though?
I don't know. I haven't seen it. I don't feel like it.
Come on. It was decent. It is Fruits Basket. It doesn't get better than decent.
Yep. And he's done a lot of stuff, and I do not care to go through all of this. So, yeah. The synopsis, according to Mal, is Shuso Shu Matsutani lives his ordinary life in peace. He has friends, a crush, and a passion for kendo. Passion. Dejected after losing to his kendo rival, Shu climbs a smokestack to watch the sunset, where he finds Lalaru, a quiet blue-haired girl wearing a strange pendant. Shu attempts to befriend her, despite her uninterest, her uninterested bland response. However, his hopes are crushed when a woman accompanied by 2 serpentine machines appear out of thin air with one goal in mind: capture Lalaru. Shu, bullheaded as he is, tries to save his new friend from her kidnappers, and is transported to a desert world, unlike anything he has ever seen before. Yet, despite the circumstances, Shu only thinks of saving Lalaru until he is thoroughly beaten up by some soldiers. As he soon finds out, Lalaru can manipulate water, and her pendant is the source from which she is able to bring forth a liquid, a scarce commodity in this new environment. But now, the pendant is lost, and Shu is the prime suspect.
Ooh.
I know. It's an isekai, guys.
There's no wrestlers in that one, therefore it's good. Well,
yeah,
it's just doing isekai. Don't.
Yeah,
you know.
it's still this guy. Here's the thing, right? I do like, as far as premises when it comes to kind of transported to another world. I do like the way they do this, right? Because here they are transported. Shu is transported to a different world in which he doesn't know, and there is an immediate conflict. There is the group that he gets sent to, which I don't remember the name of, who are at war with basically everyone else because they are ruled by a absolute batshit crazy dude, military guy who is paranoid as fuck about everything and wants total world domination to mold so that he can feel safe. So he leads his soldiers, his child soldiers and staff to kind of just try to take over, although that plan is on hold. But in order for him to gain power, he needs Lalaru and he needs her water pendant so that they can get water, because water is a scarce commodity. It is no longer producible in nature. So they need this girl who can produce water, but she doesn't want to do it, mostly because producing water saps away their life force. But fucking selfish little girl only thinking of herself. Oh, I don't want to die. Boo-hoo. So yeah, it's
I hate when the little kids don't want to die, man.
I know, right? So does this guy. A man does the fucking does that fucking crazy guy. He let's see, what is his name again?
Dude, I'm gonna interrupt you here for a second.
Uh-huh.
This is one of my top, like, if I'm to make a top 50 anime list of all time, like, this makes the list. This show. It is well written. The tone is very appropriate, and the villain is one of my favorites ever, most favorite ever, because he's just so insane, and they don't pull any punches with this guy.
Not very reassuring. If I made a top 50, well, shit, there's a lot of anime.
I mean, yeah, his name is Hamdo. I would most definitely not put it in my top 50. I
Really?
don't even think I'd put it in my top 100. Really.
Now I'm curious as to why, because I love this. I love this show. I think it flies. I feel like it flies under the radar with a lot of people.
I think it's pretty well known. But I enjoyed this show. It's not a bad show. It is a good show. I do agree that there are, like I said, when it comes to like the concept of it all, it is interesting, right? Because there is a pretty there's a pretty grand conflict going on there that is still pretty relatable to us as well, right? Because we're talking about child soldiers, we're talking about war crimes, we're talking about a guy who will literally fucking smack a little girl and just tells his soldiers to like go and die, and if somebody doesn't want to fucking die for him, then he'll kill them himself. Like, it doesn't matter. Fuck you. You're just like, you're killing all our soldiers. We're running out of child soldiers. Well, that's a problem. Fuck it, let's invade a neighboring town and get more. Just murder their families and take them.
Yeah,
that's okay. So he is he is most definitely batshit insane, and like I said, he is paranoid as fuck. So the more he does this, the more scared he gets that somebody is out to get him, and people are out to get him.
You don't say.
Obviously.
If I keep creating enemies, I'm making, more enemies.
Yep. But I mean, it's not just like enemies, right? You have literally everyone. You have Abelia as well, right? Which is his right side, like his right side man, or she is his right side man, right side woman.
Right.
And she will she is obviously in love with this man somehow, and she'll do everything for him. Try to, at least. Which annoys her because he won't look her way. He's only interested in LaLaRue because she can provide him with something. This little child.
Right.
Pedophile. Fucking, I hate these guys. Anyways, so
he's not a nice guy.
Yep. No, he is not a nice guy. And even then, it's like she does everything for him, and at the end of it all, does he trust her even remotely? Nope, not at all. The moment she is literally just like in the way when he wants to kill, when he wants to fucking kill Shu, and she is in the way, she's like standing between them, not even fucking trying to save this kid, just standing. He's like, nah, fuck you, I'm shooting you first so I can shoot him. Like fucking, you're just another obstacle to me. Even though you literally helped me out with everything I've ever done, and I wouldn't fucking be anywhere near my fucking level of power if it wasn't for you. I'm still gonna kill you because you could potentially become dangerous to me one day. It's like he is a fucking lost cause, and goddamn, there is a lot of scenes of torture in this. I mean, you have the
There's the infamous dog scene.
Yeah. You also have like Sarah, her name is. Shu gets thrown in jail, and there he meets Sarah, who she is another girl from his world, from America, because of course.
Of course.
Yeah. And it's like you sit there, and this is one of the things I think it does great, right? Shu has been tortured, and he's been beaten up and whatnot, and he continuously keeps getting tortured. But he gets put back in the cell every night. And like as he is there, he's like beaten up, and this girl is scared, and he tries to like comfort her, and he's like, everything will be okay. I promise. We're gonna get out of here eventually. Something's gonna happen, right? This blind confidence in something, in good that this kid has because he's a kid. But as the show really wants to let you know, there is no need for blind confidence in anything because there is nothing good that's gonna come out of here. Eventually, Sarah gets taken away, and she gets used as like a prostitute for the military. So they just start raping her, Shu is constantly getting tortured as well, and it just seems like there is nothing. The only thing that stops Shu from keep getting tortured and getting killed is because they still believe he's the only one who knows where the pendant is, and eventually they just decide that like, we need people in the military. You can join.
Yep.
So it's incredibly bleak. It's very
depressing.
Adult, very depressing, very I don't know. It's
I'm kind of surprised. I thought with the shows that you gravitate towards, Tori, you'd like this more.
Yeah, same. But no, I still feel like there are parts I do like. For example, I don't particularly care for Hamdo. I think he's overdone as a villain. I think he is. I don't mind an insane villain, but I feel like at a certain point you have instilled that he is. You have shown us that he's insane. You've shown us what he's capable of. I feel like at a certain point it becomes kind of unnecessary to keep pushing on that as hard and as constant as I do, because like he doesn't get less insane. He gets more insane. And he is already pretty fucking insane. So I feel like there's a lot of stuff like that where I feel like the show doesn't know when to break, if that makes sense. It's just in a constant state of like, everything is just going to keep getting worse and worse and worse and worse and worse and worse and worse until we eventually escape, and then you'll have this little brief moment of, okay, finally, everything's okay. Until these people come after him again, and it's like, nope. Sorry, whole fucking village slaughtered again. It's like there is no hope. There is no.
So it's too much of a downward spiral. Not enough break in the depression.
Yes.
Okay.
For me it is. I don't.
I could see that. Yeah. Absolutely.
I feel like it becomes one of those. It becomes like a one track thing essentially. Like it has I was about to say, it has a quote-unquote, like, I was probably called more of a melancholic ending than a good ending, right? But this one is like, okay, Hondo's eventually defeated. Spoiler. But it's like...
You don't say.
But it's... I mean, are you surprised? But it's like, it's even still, it's one of those things like, you know, and that's kind of the point of the show as well, right? It's like, is it a good ending? I mean, as good, and it's good in the sense that at least now he can't kill anymore, but I mean, this world is still dying, and he's already murdered like fucking hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people. So, yeah, I guess it's good.
It's like the Fist of the North Star universe. No matter how many times a 80s Mad Max villain will explode from many death punches, there will always be more to kill and explode with death punches.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, kinda, but nah. So for me, like it's a good show. It's a show that I enjoyed to a certain extent, but I feel like it lacks a little bit of like nuance, and I feel like it lacks a little bit of like variation in its plot structure. I feel like it kind of picks one thing and then goes hard in that direction for most of the show, and then towards the end it kind of tries to break a little bit, but then there's not enough episodes left, so it's just kind of have to dive like right back into it again. So yeah, maybe if it would have been a little bit longer, it could have balanced that out a little bit better, but it's fine as is.
It's definitely a show I'd like to review for the cast at some point. Maybe, I don't know. At some point, basically. It's one of my my top ones, as I said. I quite enjoy it, but I totally understand what you're saying, Tori, with this extremely bleak universe, and it never lets up, with the just insane villain that never lets up. He only gets worse and worse. It makes sense to me. It's again, this is a show I gravitate towards. I think it's well written. But the tone, yeah, it could definitely throw people off easily. I don't disagree with you at all there. Hickey, have you seen this? I imagine you have.
I think I haven't actually. So
what?
Yeah.
Damn.
Mr. I Watch Everything hasn't seen a show?
I don't know why.
Mr. I Watch Everything hasn't seen the Star Wars
ripoff?
ripoff?
I don't remember watching that. So I probably not. I haven't watched it. I probably won't watch it unless JD puts on the podcast list for review.
Oh. Maybe in 2022.
Maybe.
If we're still podcasting.
Tori, of course we will be.
We don't have.
We have all the shows to review.
We do have all the shows to review. But I doubt we're ever going to review all the shows.
Come on. We have all of them.
Are we going
Just throwing
back
a few
to
more
the
hentai
jerking
to
off
pad it
dilemma?
out.
Listen, I'm not against
we have to
that
at
idea.
least do 5 more hentai. And 1 a year, so that's another 5 years. So
I don't know, man. 10 hentai at least. Come on now.
Oh, well. You know what? Number 10, hentai. That's it. End of podcast. Colin, have you seen the show?
I have not.
Not all the hentai that we haven't mentioned.
I think I've heard of it. I just haven't watched it. Just not a lot of time in the day. Plus, I don't even think about it.
Oh. You don't think about being depressing and kicking dogs in your spare time?
I've got Lisa the Painful RPG for that.
Ooh. There's a reference. Okay. What? I'm curious what score you gave it, Tori.
I gave it a 7 out of 10.
Okay, so you didn't hate it that much.
I said I didn't hate it at all. I said I liked it. It's not great. It's a good show, but it's not great for me. Like, it's not. That's why it's not in my top 50, and maybe not even in my top 100. I watched a lot of shows that I really like.
Fair enough, sir. We have been requested to try to do like a top 50 anime cast at some point.
We can do that. And in the meantime, you can go to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/AnimeTopScholar, and you can see our top 5 that I did. Or, I mean, I got your guys' input, but a video I made like way back in the day.
Yeah.
You can get a little bit of a idea.
Well, I mean, if I just congregate all the scores of all 60, what will be 63 anime that we've done for the cast, we could make a top 50.
Yeah, no, I know.
We totally could just do that from all the shows that we've covered.
Of course we could.
So,
but my point is, like, if they can't wait, I have already made a top 5 that we did earlier on. Obviously, it's not nowhere near updated. It's fucking really old, but still, it's there.
link in the description of Tori's YouTube is in the description. So, all right, let's move on to Hickey's webtoon that we're talking about today. As I play the drop. All right, Hickey, take it away.
All right, so this is the Manga Manhwa or webtoon checkout where me and JD talk about some literature we want to reveal. This is the
Beautiful literature.
It is high culture literature. This is the 23rd checkout and is over the webtoon God of High School by Young-Ji Park. It's a webtoon that started in 2011 and has more than 400 chapters. So that guy is trying to be the god of high school for a long time. That is not the premise at all of the story.
The One Piece of webtoons.
The One Piece of high school dramas. Let's go. The summary from Anime Planet says, well-known fighters are all here at the national competition to find out who is the best fighter in high school. But mysterious group called... Oh shit! There's a kanji instead of the name.
Nox Solidarity.
Nox Solidarity. I think I know why there's a bunch of kanjis, because my region is Japan, for reasons I don't need to disclose. But anyway, comes and tries to make a mess. Now, who is going to fight with Mori and his friends against Nox? So yeah, I've read 45 chapters. I could have read more because I've read 45 chapters in 2 days, but
okay.
I might stop a little bit.
I read just as Nox came to fuck some shit up in the competition. So that's kind of where I stopped for the podcast.
I think you passed me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't recall which chapter it is exactly, but I wanted to at least get to that part, because when I read the synopsis, I'm like, Nox Solidarity. Okay. When do they come? I'll stop there. And just kept reading. I'm like, fuck, when does this get going?
I've stopped right after the announcer got killed. The blind one.
Okay, so it's like right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, all because our main character is discovered to have this what thought dead taekwondo technique. The ultimate counter is what I guess we'll call it like that, because North Korea developed a killing taekwondo style.
It's the North Korean taekwondo. I love that part. I'm like,
yeah,
sure.
It's like North Koreans stole a bunch of people and taught them the death taekwondo, and then South Korea's like, well, we'll have the anti-death taekwondo.
Fuck you.
Like, simple enough.
We'll have the no you of taekwondo.
Yeah, well, that's exactly what it is, because it builds up to so the three main characters here go get recruited to compete in the God of High School tournament, and they all have their circumstances why they want to get in this. If you win the tournament, you get a wish, and main character just wants to be the strongest. That's all he cares about, so very standard. And then the other two are more interesting, I guess. Then you have a girl who's, of course, ditzy and clumsy, but then kicks ass. And then the other characters, I forget his name, but he knows
karate,
Wei Kwando or something.
It's karate, no? He has like this fucking awesome karate kind of thing, which is also a rival of the counter taekwondo.
course. He has a friend who's like got 4th stage cancer or something crazy. So he's on death's door. So he's fighting to get them to cure him. And they're like, yeah, we can cure him. It's like, oh.
I like
okay.
that everyone's like, oh, you guys can almost kill yourselves. You won't die. And it's like, why is that? And then you see a little bit later, and it's like, oh, wow. Nanomachines, son. Just like just curing everyone with nanomachines. I'm like, sure.
Yeah, it just goes, yeah, we have the technology. You could break your neck. Yeah, I'll be fine. Whatever. The it's okay technology.
Yeah, everything's gonna be daijoubu technology.
Yeah. So you know, there's some cheeky little comedy spots. It really builds up to everyone having these levels. Our main character's what, level 7? Is what they claim he is, or 9?
No,
not
he's like
the
level
highest.
6. I think he's level 6. The girl is level 8 of 9, and the guy is also 8 of 9. It's 1 or 2. I think the girl is 9 and the guy is 8. Like
something like that. And then they introduce a character who's from North Korea, and he knows he was like taken to North Korea, and then he was taught the North Korean death karate, and he's a level 12. He wears a straitjacket. Ooh. And then he's like beating a dude down to death, pretty much, even though everything's daijoubu. Our main character just kind of interferes, and then he does his this is when we find out he has the anti-karate, anti-taekwondo. And his level spikes to level like 14. Ooh! And then that's when, shortly after that, Nox Solidarity comes and shit goes down. So that's the whole purpose there. I don't know. The main character, he's just the typical nice guy. He's very carefree, just wants to fight. Not really much to him. I was much more interested in Mr. Karate Dude with the cancer friend.
Well, I mean,
much more interesting.
Yeah, not so much. But when like he fights against his friends, the girl which is still healing from that weird marriage arc that doesn't make any sense. In the story, and like he just goes and punches her in the wound, like no wonder at all, just because he wants to save his friend.
He's got to save his friend, bro.
Yeah, but then like when he fights also main character and his friend is dead, it's like new techniques all over the place, and it's fun that they show the other preliminaries of the other champions, and it's pretty normal. While the main character preliminaries are just people spamming key attacks and destroying the stadium. I'm like, okay, sure. You know what? That's everything will be daijoubu. By the end of it.
This isn't one of the deeper ones we've discussed. Even in terms of webtoons, not a heavy deep story. It's very simplistic. It's as far as I could tell, it was much for a younger audience. Am I wrong in thinking that?
I wouldn't say very young, but like 13 to 16, 17. It is a shonen. It's hard shonen.
It's hard shonen, yeah.
Yeah, it is very simplistic,
simple.
But highly effective. Because once you start reading, you just don't stop. You just go.
It was very easy to read. That is no doubt. Yeah,
it flows very well. The problem is some arcs and some story things don't make a lot of sense. Like the marriage arc, like the girl who is part of the main group, she just got asked to marry, and since she's poor, she accepts. But it's like it's just this weird arc in the middle of the fight, doesn't make a lot of sense. And then you have the main guy just wandering around the stadium and finds this old dude tied to the ceiling, and he finds the fucking berry from One Piece and eats it. It's just like doesn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah, he gets a devil fruit, and yeah, it's so weird.
So like,
just random things are thrown in there, and you just
the
go,
problem,
sure, shonen stuff.
The problem are the random things that are thrown in. But aside that, it's highly simplistic but very effective, and the fights are fun.
The fights were fun. I did enjoy those. It's not. I mean, what was that called? Girls of the Wild. I think I like God of High School more in terms of why they're fighting, where it's going. Because the problem with Girls of the Wild was the main character was a little bitch, while everyone else was cool, right?
Yeah.
You don't want to root for a loser.
He's trying. He's trying. Okay. He's
I
the
don't
underdog.
care.
He's the
He
underdog.
just wants
He's
to
not a
protect
loser.
his family.
Well, maybe he should grow some testicles.
He did.
Well, sort of.
Eventually.
Still a loser.
Yeah, it took a while, and a lot of domination from the stronger girls than him. But aside that, he grew some balls eventually.
But eventually he got the balls to not
Drop?
do anything.
To actually fight a bully and lose, but then becoming friends. I think.
What a winner!
Meeting up with the girl that he likes and then kinda just end.
Kind of just, yeah.
So at least with God of High School, we go, okay, they're not convoluting or making you not like a character, or you're questioning why you're liking it. It's just, yeah, they are who they are. Who they are. They're their own person. They have their own motivation. They're all competing for the same goal, and they can still be friends. So hey, why not? And then the big bad comes, the Nox Solidarity. I think I'll be looking forward to seeing what they're about. They're all about the murder and kicking ass and taking names and giving those names to other people whose asses they've kicked. So that's cool. I'll be continuing this, Hickey. I give it a nice little pass.
Yeah,
Simple.
Yeah,
It's a little too simple, but yeah, as you said, it's effective. I agree.
Yeah, I have a few other manga I want to read right now. Nothing major, but once I finish, they're short manga, from mostly 4 styles. So when I finish, I'll probably also catch up with God of High School because it's interesting. I want to see where it's going.
Well, speaking of just manga in general, Lone Wolf and Cub, it's still pretty good. I'm still rather enjoying it, despite its age. It's very effective in its chapter telling. Right, it's not really a full story. It's chapter by chapter, as we mentioned in the previous cast.
Yeah.
And we've gotten multiple comments that we should, if we do enjoy it, we should absolutely check out the live actions from the 70s. They are supposedly incredible.
Oh, okay. I mean, I've watched the live actions for Jin-Roh, so might as well, once I finish, when I go to my forced vacations, because that is a thing, I guess. I'll probably
I love how you fucking phrase that every day. Forced vacation.
Yeah, because
You've been working too long.
No.
Get out of here.
it's because there's a recess in the judiciary system, and my boss was like, "Yeah, I know you don't have a year yet, and you only get, vacations after a year of work, but there's no one will be here, so might as well just give you a."
Boss, I want to work.
I'm like, well, I do want to work because they're just gonna get some of my vacations once I complete a year and cut it off from there. So I really wish they wouldn't do that, but I don't have a choice. So once I go into forced vacations, I might watch the live actions.
Cool. We might have to bring that up on a future cast. Because I'm definitely very interested in checking that out as well. So, all right. I guess we'll just move on to the anime retro review.
Okay.
So let me play this drop there.
Now, it's time we start dealing with the business at hand.
All right. Tori, I think I'll let you take this one away and lead Jin-Roh.
Guy won't even do it himself, huh?
No,
Of course he won't.
I have
All right, then.
I have some feelings about Jin-Roh-caption.
Okay.
So there's a reason why I called it that. Anyways.
Okay.
That
so
one
anyways.
German listener. I understood that reference.
It's in the movie all the time.
I know, it's on the whole thing.
Yep.
Especially the weird 1987 live action I watched.
Anyways, yes, so we've got to that point where we're going to review Jin-Roh, the Wolf Brigade. Wow, I'm sure no one saw this coming. So, shock. Anyways, it's produced by Studio Production IG. It was directed by Okiura Hiroyuki, a key animation vet from Akira, Memories, to name a couple. Jin-Roh was originally created by Mamoru Oshii, and the movie was released in summer of 2000.
Oshii, our man, our boy.
Our boy, our very, very old boy. Our very, very no longer welcome.
Well, I don't know if you know this, but
Wait,
our man Mamoru, he's on first name basis with us.
Yes,
what did Mamoru
Absolutely.
do to not be welcomed?
No. He didn't do anything. It's just like he said himself, he doesn't really feel. It feels like his time has passed.
Oh, okay. I mean, there's some
That's
people
why.
who should not be welcomed in the industry, but they're still there, drinking some tape tea and doing things about anal rape. But like if those guys are still around, I don't feel like why Mamoru is not welcome anymore.
I don't know, man. How can he be welcome when he makes good movies? That makes everybody else look bad.
That is true.
So yeah.
You haven't seen the Red Spectacle.
Listen, I haven't, but everyone can make bad movies. Anyways, the Jin-Roh is a movie based on a 2-volume manga called Kerberos Panzer Cop, which was published in 1998. And the summary from Anime Planet says, Comfortable Fuse is part of an elite special forces unit known as the Capitol Police, whose mission is to maintain peace during a time of civil unrest. Fuse becomes entangled within a web of intrigue and politics between the Capitol Police, the government, Intelligence Bureau, and a secret society known as Jin-Roh, the Wolf Brigade.
Ooh.
Yes.
So who wants to go first? Hickey.
Yeah.
Fucking capitalist pigs.
Because I've read the manga, I've seen the Red Spectacles. I haven't seen Kerberos Panzer Corps something dogs because I had to work, but I know the story. And it's important for Jin-Roh because Jin-Roh is just a part of that. When you see Jin-Roh, only Jin-Roh, there's enough context to understand what's going on. But it seems like a story of secret organizations just fighting each other in a conspiracy. But it's not quite that. Basically what happens is this is a alternate history kind of scenario where Germany won World War II. But it's a little bit weird. It's not like The Man in the High Castle, where Japan became like this superpower as just like Germany and they divided the world. In this one, for some reason, Germany invaded Japan. And it's basically the Japan of the 50s in our history, but instead of the United States occupying Japan, you have Germany occupying Japan. So you still have like the Japanese self-defense force, but instead of using Japanese names, they use Panzer brigades and Wehrmacht, more of oriented terms to the armies in Japan. That's why it's Kerberos Panzer Corps. And what happens is, in the 50s in Japan, 60s and 50s, there were a lot of communist movements, and they started doing acts of violence. In this universe, they are not communists. They're called the anti-Weimar movement, which fights against the Germany influence in Japan. But then they start doing terrorist acts, and the Metropolitan Police, which is kind of Tokyo Police, they decide to make this special unit called the Kerberos Panzer Corps, which uses the really cool armor with the MG34 machine gun, or I don't think it's an MG34. I think it's an MG3 or MG4, which are modern versions of the MG43. 34. Damn it! Regardless, the manga is very simple. There are eight stories, and they are not connected, but they all have the same kind of direction. The Capros Panzer unit, they started as the cool guys, but as time went on, they kind of got full of themselves and thought they were better than anyone, especially the Japanese self-defense force and normal police people. So they didn't give a shit. They would just torture people and kill innocent people as well, thinking they were terrorists. But yeah, in that story, you have kind of the Metropolitan Police. They kind of get done and started doing a bunch of things under the table to get, to just end the Quebros Panzer Corps. That culminates with the commanders of the Panzer Corps deciding to do a coup d'etat, called in the last chapter, called the Quebros Revolt. That fails. The Japanese Panzer units, Panzerjägers, I think it's the name of the unit, kind of suppressed them, and they got incorporated into the Metropolitan Police. But 3 people from the Quebros, they escape. They refuse to surrender, escape. They are the Koichi Todome, Washio Midori, and Soichiro Toribe. Midori and Koichi, they get wounded and abandoned by Soichiro. And after that, you get to the movies. First, the 1987, the beginning of the 1987, where you see the 3 escaping in a jeep, which is not possible because the United States don't exist. But they escape in a jeep, and only Soichiro gets in a helicopter and flies to Taiwan, where he's hidden. Then you go to the 1991 one, where the Metropolitan Police, they incorporated the Panzer Corps, and a lot of the Quebros Corps, they became hunting dogs. They just go around trying to find all the guys from the Quebro unit and tell them to surrender, or just arrest them for mutiny and treason. They convinced one of those guys to fly to Taiwan and find Soichiro, because that guy, he hates Soichiro because he saw him while the Quebros unit were fighting the police and the Japanese self-defense force. He saw Soichiro flying away and fleeing battle. So he goes to Taiwan. You have the movie. I haven't watched it. I know it happens. He convinces Soichiro to go back to Japan and start a revolution using the Quebros. And that's the 1987 movie, where he goes to Japan and starts being followed by this. He always is using shades, sunglasses for some reason, even though it's night, and he's being followed by this fat dude with sunglasses as well. He goes to a hotel, and everything starts to become very, very weird. He's taking a shower, and some guys in mimic clothing just start performing ballet and with guns. So like kind of assassins. Yeah, kind of assassin is going to kill him. He fights a really funny fight to watch, escapes, and then he goes around trying to find the Quebros guys to understand what is going on. And it's highly artistical, comedic, and weird until the end, where he's always talking about how he escaped. It was the summer of 1955, and it was so hot, the asphalt was melting down the things. And by the end of the movie, he's escaping in a taxi, and he's talking to the taxi driver how he escaped. And the taxi driver said, "No, you're wrong. You're just a crazy guy. It wasn't summer. It wasn't hot. It was raining. You flew like a coward. You put the Quebros armor inside of a box and flew from battle using a sewer." And you see the all that thing unveiling, the movie goes from color to, through the movie, it just loses the color and goes to black and white, and then it cuts off. You see the shower and the Soichiro on the floor. He was shot, actually. Right at the beginning of the movie, he was shot, and the movie is just like he's dreaming as he dies. He dreams of revolution as he dies, and you see all those guys from the Capital Corps there as hunting dogs, and they go see his luggage, thinking it was the armor, the Capital's armor. They open it, and it's just sunglasses, which means the guy was just nuts. He became crazy and started while fantasizing of being this hero that would save the Capital Corps. When you know that and look at Jin-Roh, it makes a lot of sense that you're seeing the good guys being slaughtered by the bad guys, which is the Jin-Roh, a special, secret, and illegal self-preservation force inside of the Capital Panzer Corps. So yeah, when I watched it the second time, Jin-Roh, knowing what happens in the story and the live-action movies, I was like, oh, this is interesting, to say the least.
Yeah. Yes, it is. That definitely, like, the live action movies are something that I've been meaning to watch for a while as well. I never got around to it though, but yeah, I'm definitely gonna when I do get around to it, maybe one day, I'm definitely gonna have to rewatch this movie again then, just to see that, because that does bring a different context to everything.
It does.
That's
Like
sure.
when you see there's that one thing on Jin-Roh where the Metropolitan Police and the Japanese Self-Defense Force guys are in the junkyard, and they're talking about, look, we need to finish the Capital Sponsor unit. Let's just incorporate them to the Metropolitan Police and use them as a base to reform the police from the inside, right? And be stronger. That makes a lot of sense, and that's what happens after the revolution they try to pull off. But then it just it looks like a dirty conspiration against the heroes.
So, do you feel then it's necessary to watch the live actions before Jin-Roh?
No. I think it's interesting to read the manga, but you don't need to, because the first chapter of the manga is basically Jin-Roh. But it's not about Fuso. It's about another guy who was in the Metropolitan Police. He's working in the riots, and he sees a woman fleeing with a man. And the man is wounded. They are fleeing from the sewer, and he goes to help them. But there's Capital's Panzer Corps snipers in the buildings, and they just kill the guy, which was an armed terrorist. This guy, he becomes confused. It's basically the same thing as the beginning of Jin-Roh, but Fusei is already in the Capitals. This guy gets really confused. He enlists in the Capitals, and you have the running montage. When Fusei is running alone in the track, we see in the movie.
Right.
When he's training with the pistol, there's also that in the first chapter. But by the end of it, he is already in the Capitals. His first mission, he's in the sewer, and he sees the woman he kind of saved at the beginning with another wounded guy. He doesn't shoot her. She pulls a sealed off shotgun and shoots him in the chest, and he dies in the sewer. Right? So it's exactly the same thing. It's exactly the same story as Jin-Roh, and a lot of people say Jin-Roh is loosely adaptation of the first chapter of the Capital Sponsor Corps manga, but it's not. It's the same story, but what if the guy was inside of the Capitals? And you see the name Jin-Roh only in chapter 6, when you already know there's a conspiration of the Metropolitan Police with the Japanese Self-Defense Force to end the Capitals, and they start talking about, well, what if this Jin-Roh unit is actually real? So you have an analog story of the first chapter of Capital Sponsor Corps being adapted as a Jin-Roh in the context of the 6th chapter of the story, where they start talking about this special self-preservation group called the Werewolves, or Jin-Roh. So I think it's interesting. The manga is not that bad. It's also very fun. the movies are Japanese, true Japanese, at least the red spectacles. Definitely an experience, but I think to understand the context, especially because they don't tell you, oh yeah, this is a alternate history where Germany won World War II but invaded Japan for some reason, and they have a Japanese self-defense force with German roots instead of
I just wanted all the things.
instead of American. But it's just weird. I thought it was weird, right? Because it doesn't make a lot of sense for Japan to lose its army just like it did in World War II when they were allies with Germany. But regardless, that's why in Jin-Roh you only see Beatles around and German cars.
Right.
Because basically it's a German society.
Yeah, okay. I follow you. I do. I had a hard time kind of getting into the story with the way it was presented, just overall.
Right? It is the weirdest adaptation of Red Riding Hood.
Yeah, Retrogaming. And they even push it in your face as the girl whom has the book it will recite lines from the story as the movie's going on, and it's relevant to what's taking place in that moment, and it ends up leading to kind of the final lines of the story with the final moment of the movie, with a very, I would say emotional, but I don't know. There was, on the emotional standpoint of character connection and what they're feeling, I didn't feel any of it for them, because it just felt like it was, how do I put, you have our main character Fusei, and he's betrayed by his organization. He's essentially the setup man. He is the setup man. And then he develops mixed feelings, and then it sways one way. So I'm not really sure how I'm supposed to feel for this character when he's kind of a mute, and you don't know if he's faking or not, or if it's just part of his military persona. It was very tough for me to feel anything for the characters. It was very not one-paced, but it was a monotone feel throughout the show. That's what it got around with me. One note. Yeah, that's probably a better word.
Yeah,
but thank you,
that
Colin.
pretty much sums up my feelings too. I couldn't really feel much for the character. It doesn't really display much, and there are certain things that just don't get built up very well, if at all. Like the whole climax, when suddenly the secret organization members come out of the woodwork, and then Fusei goes on a killing spree of the people conspiring against them.
I mean, it has cool action scenes, and it's definitely well animated, and I love the character designs. It has a lot of things that I love in anime. But the character part and the one-note tonal way about going things really kind of took me out of a lot of things.
Yeah, it's a pretty wordy movie too. I mean,
welcome to Oshi.
I mean,
that's Mamoru Oshii. I went in expecting that, and that's exactly what I got. So that didn't bother me at all.
Yeah, honestly, I feel like he relies more on tell rather than show, and that's a bit of a sticking point for me.
Well, at the beginning, that's 1,000% true. It was just a long dissertation of history of the Capitol Police, the Cabrillo's Panzerkorps, and
that I don't have.
So forth and so on. So then Hickey telling us kind of the backstory and these side stories of the manga and the live actions definitely give more perspective to it. I know you said it's not necessary, but I think if you watch those, that would really help. I mean, a way to look at.
It helped me to.
That's what it's coming across to me, anyways.
Yeah, I mean, it helped me to put a little bit of more context on why there's a conspiracy, right? When you see what happens in the manga, Like, because it's like, well, the guys are doing a good job. In the movie, they are doing what they are supposed to do, and they're fucking people bombing shit. So, you know. But, like, why there's a conspiracy to it? And when you see the manga and the tension, it's like, look, I know there's still people bombing stuff, but you guys are not necessary anymore. It's better if you guys just stop, existing, incorporate into the police, and reform the police so we can have a better force dealing with the new situation. And when you see, like, the guys in the movie in Jin-Roh talking about that thing, they're like, oh, they're trying to, it's treason to us, or, they want to make a better, they want just to do that for political gain, and to do that they need to sacrifice the capitals. And it's like, well, yes, because the capitals are actually the villains in that moment. They were just beating up innocent people.
But that's kind of what I appreciate, though, right? Because, and there's why, like, I agree with Hickey in the sense that, like, I feel like that's one of the nice things about Jin-Roh as a movie, right? Depending on how you can watch just Jin-Roh without having watched anything else, or read the manga, or watch the other movies, right? And you're gonna get one version of it. And then when you watch more, you're gonna get multiple perspectives. You're gonna get more context. You're gonna get other stuff, right? And I think that's kind of one of those interesting things. Where it's like you watch it once, not knowing, and then you're gonna come out with this movie with whatever you think, and then you read the manga, you'll watch the other movies, and then you'll come back to this, and it's like, oh, now all of a sudden everything has different connotations, and that's an interesting concept to me. Like, it's one of those things, like, it works on its own, but you're also gonna you understand you're gonna get a different perspective on things from if you had more context. Couldn't you
just argue watching something like that, or reading a story? Yes, you get a different perspective, and some things are enlightened. But isn't that kind of a failure on the story being a standalone, of not bringing enough context to what you're witnessing?
Well, that is. I mean, at this point, you're essentially arguing, or not arguing. That depends on what the purpose of it is, right?
Sure. But what is the purpose then? Yeah. Well, okay. You're going into it.
No, but like, that's the entire thing, right? Do you look at this as a sequel, or do you look at it as another story, right? Because there is a lot of stories in this universe. There's a lot of sites. There's a lot of different perspectives.
Right.
Do you look at Jin-Roh as just like as something that just comes after everything else, or is it, like Hickey said, it's like a weird kind of adaptation of the manga, parts of the manga, kind of, but not really. Right? So it's one of those things, like, does that make it a sequel? Does it make it its own thing? Is it necessary to have it, like, in collaboration with everything else? Can you watch it alone, or can you do both? For me, I feel like, obviously I'm saying this without having seen or read the manga. To me, it sounds like it can be, like, it is one of those things, like, it can be experienced on its own, and you're going to get one version of it. And then when you get it in context with everything else, you're going to get a fuller picture, which is then going to flesh stuff out more, and you're going to understand more of what is going on. Because there is no denying, there are pieces missing from Jin-Roh. Absolutely. Yeah. But I feel like it doesn't feel to me like that is unintentional. It feels like that's kind of the point.
I agree with that. But if you're missing key pieces instead of side pieces, that's a big difference with me. That's what, like, just to make a reference, that's kind of what I guess Kingdom Hearts does, just to make a video game reference.
Go on.
Or even Death Stranding. That's a much more recent example. It's putting a lot of expectations on the viewer to kind of already know a lot of these key pieces of information, and then it sort of fills in the sides rather than explaining those key pieces right away. So maybe if like Jin-Roh came out as like
Jin-Roh is in side story, so you got really holed up by the side story kind of aspect of it, and not the points.
Right, so I'm missing the main story.
Yeah, they did the enough. They give you enough of the main story to make Jin-Roh unique. What is the Jin-Roh? Do you think there's a conspiracy? Why they want to finish Jin-Roh? What they are gonna do with the Capitals unit once they terminate it? Why they want to do it? who they don't say who are the terrorists, but then if you know Japanese history, you think, oh, they're just the communists. Technically not. Yeah. So like, Jin-Roh can be a standalone thing, but you need to pay a little bit more of attention because they will explain very briefly what is going on. If you read the manga,
I definitely missed a couple things because I'm like, man, I definitely missed something. Whether I looked at my phone for a second or whatever it might be, or I wasn't paying enough attention. I'm definitely struggling because this is a side story, right? And this is the only thing I'm exposed to. No manga, no live actions. It really makes me question why the decision was made to come out with a side story anime movie before the main story, right?
Well, because like you have them, because everything is Mamoru Oshii, and he did what he wanted with the story. I mean,
I was about to say.
I know he did that.
No, I mean,
it's gonna
honestly,
be...
I'm not being sassy. I'm just like, there's the manga. I think you can buy like a volume. They compiled it in one volume, and it was released in the United States, so I think you can buy it.
All right, right stuff.
After that, you have the live action movies. So the story ends in 1987. You have the 1991 version. But that is like in between the ending of the manga and the ending of the Kebro saga, because the last guy who was actually a Kebro's guy, Soichiro, got shot by his own friends when he was taking a shower, and he dies. He's the end of the Kebros. He was crazy, he was dangerous, he was technically a terrorist, and he got shot at the bathroom. That is the end of the story. Then in 1999, 2000, you have Jin-Roh, which goes back in the perspective of the manga. So like if you like this story, you've probably seen everything, right? At the 2000s. We don't. So most of people just watch Jin-Roh because you have guys from Q-Zone just killing people, and it is awesome. So yes. Like, but yeah, there's a little bit of context missing. I understand what is going on. I don't think it is important if you look at Jin-Roh as a standalone piece. If you see there's something missing, and if you know a little bit of the information, like the ones I gave you, then you see there's a lot of things missing in Jin-Roh, and it just bothers you even more.
Yeah, now I mean, again, I
am disappointed to announce that Kebro's Panzerkopf can only be bought seemingly on Amazon used for like $60.
Yeah, fuck that. But yeah, no, like I still stand by like I think that this is perfectly fine standalone. I think like it gives you enough context. It does not give you the entire thing, and if you want the entire context of everything,
yeah, because
you're gonna have to do more digging. Yeah, but it gives you enough. It gives you enough information that you can easily watch Jin-Roh as a movie separate, and you still make sense of what is going on. You might not understand like the underlying implications of everything, but it's not like I didn't at any point watching this movie feel like I was like sitting there being like, wait, why are they doing this? Kind of a little bit at the end, but apart from that, for the most part, the movie was. I felt like I was getting what I was like. I felt like I understood what was happening to a certain extent, to enough of an extent that I wasn't sitting there going like, there's something missing here. I'm not getting this story.
I don't know. I just wish if some of that was. I don't know. It's definitely affecting me more than it probably should of those missing pieces, which is kind of a shame because this is. It's to me this is an anime you would show to like a philosophy, art, or history class of some kind, a thinking person's anime worth discussing capitalist governments and conspiracies, infighting, why organizations or rebel groups rise up under this kind of oppression. You know, you can have very in-depth discussions about it all. So maybe with those pieces of information, you could, I don't know, maybe it's the fact that I as a viewer or reader, however you want to look at it, I'm being forced to go to other outlets to finish the story or fill in those gaps or seek out other stories. Maybe it's just an annoyance on my part, but it's definitely affected me nonetheless.
Yeah, this one YouTuber I watch, this is his second favorite movie of all time. He made an interesting point about the main theme of the story. I mean, you guys mentioned Red Riding Hood very frequently, and so does the movie. But in his eye,
Rotocaption, yes.
In his eyes, that whole thing's a red herring. No pun intended. In his eyes, it's more about the fact that Fusei, the main character, I mean, he mentions at one point that he found his unit is where he belongs, the special unit. And then the guy makes the point that the whole wolf metaphor refers to him because he's a member of a pack, and his whole motivation for the movie is to keep that pack together, which would explain a lot of his actions in keeping the other organizations from destroying it or dissolving it.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think that's like I understand where that point comes from. I mean, you have like they do that visual metaphor as well in the movie, the one where he's like, chasing the little Red Riding Hood, and he's like they're standing there, and then he got the wolves behind him, kind of like caged in, but they break out. So yeah, I see that point. There are a lot of like visual representations that suggests that is part of it. Yeah. So
yeah.
But again, like that's one of the things that again I do like this movie as well. It is one of those things like I feel like there is a lot you can get, like both through like what's just told to you, but also what's shown to you. And I don't know, I just like the whole idea of like there are multiple versions to this, and you like they are all essentially their own parts of a bigger story that when put together you will get like full context of everything. But as of right now, if you've only seen Jin-Roh, you've only seen one part. Therefore, that is your truth essentially.
It just seems weird that it's now I have to go to two other different media styles or medium styles to fill in those gaps. One's a manga, another's a live action, and here's an anime. It's
there's a Korean adaptation of Jin-Roh as well. So
of course there is. Yeah, no, I mean like this. It shouldn't be that surprising though, JD, because like I mean Japan. Japan loves their multimedia projects.
Yeah, and
they try to do that a lot.
Mamoru Oshii will bitch.
Mamoru Oshii wanted to be a live-action director to begin with, not really an anime director.
Yeah. I can understand why watching the red spectacles. So yeah, even if you watch the red spectacles, there's one part where the main character is on the movie theater, and there's a German movie playing. So like if you just goes into the red spectacles and you don't know why. What happened in the past, although like they give you a little introduction to what happened with the Cabros riots or the attempt of coup d'etat. Why is there a German movie playing? So like you need to understand the things that happen in the manga or before even the manga started to understand why there's a German movie in the movie theater. So, yeah,
you gotta learn German, man, obviously.
Sure.
You must learn one of the most superior languages on the planet.
Right.
Where they give genders to video game consoles. And controllers. How dare they?
Hey, the French language gives genders to cars.
Whoa. It's too far.
The Latin languages as a whole give genders to everything. I speak 3 of them, and all of them they have genders to everything.
So yeah, I just want to reiterate again, with my issues with the story involved and the tonal aspects of it, how it looks, even with its gray and black color scheme, This
And red.
And brown.
The
well,
eye.
there definitely is some red.
The eyes and the explosions.
Yeah. When when you got a crazy Gatling machine gun contraption thing that he's holding in front of him, and you see 60 bullets just wham through a dude, and it takes out the dude behind him too, and then takes out parts of a wall, and you just hear the sound design in this is very. Where would we be without you just hear the clink chink, bam bam bam. It's all very. Yeah, it's the bullets hitting the water.
It's technically an amazing video. Movie.
Yeah, definitely.
It's really everything
On the
in
technical
those
side,
aspects.
it's just he pulling the ammunition from the box, like the backpack box, and they just rattling around and clanking in the armor as he puts in the MG34. It's just like, oh my god.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you have the
and there's
beginning
no
as well.
like crazy music going on in the background. You just hear him in a tunnel, and there's a slight echo to
Yeah,
it, so
it's
everything
just-
is amplified. It's awesome.
It's
You have
just
the beginning
heavy,
as well,
heavy
right?
breathing, like the guy heavy breathing, splashing
Yeah.
in the water for him running,
Yeah.
and he just looks in the ground and you just hear the and done. It's like no music, nothing. It's really good.
I love that. But even that's obviously that's cool. But even at the beginning, right? You have the fucking when they're standing there throwing rocks and shit and actually bombs at the police at the beginning of the movie as well. It's like one of the things. Like I went back and I rewatched a lot of the clips on Sakagabura and whatnot. It's just you see the dude who runs out and picks out a rock from the road and just picks up. You see just the way even there it's like the technical brilliance of how they animate this, because normally the biggest problem is the stuff how it's hard to create weight in animation, right? It's hard to kind of show how something is heavy, right? You can obviously show that they're struggling to pick it up, right? But that's also easy to just make very cartoony. But the way you see him kind of how it's he tries to pick it up, and he goes for it, to grips around, and then Louis loose arms and stretches his arms out and try to pick it up, and then you have this thud, it kind of moves, but it doesn't quite get up, and he has reposition himself or rework it just to pick the rock up, and then tries to throw that thing. It's just the little stuff like that. It's the attention to detail in the animation in this movie is just
Who was the sound designer? Let me look this up, because
Genji
that's
Kawai,
a big
probably.
aspect I was incredibly impressed with, because everything had weight and was very effective in it. So let me see here. Keep going on without me.
Man, the technical side is really good. I mean, the voice acting isn't that great.
Well, it's hardly any.
it's very monotone, but yeah.
Yeah.
I understand the decision, serious, and if you're going to be serious, you're going to be monotone. But yeah, I would have liked a little bit more variation. I feel like a lot of the voices, you're kind of just trying to put voice to face. It's wait, you sound kind of like him, and he sounds like you, and he also sounds like that guy. You all kind of sound a little bit similar.
Yeah. Then we discover it's just Mamoru Oshii making all the voices.
Yoko
that
Kanno
would be
was
cool.
music.
Oh.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sound effects. Toru Noguchi. Okay. All right, Mr. Toru Noguchi. What else have you done? Let's see if Evangelion.
Yeah.
Fushigi Yugi. Anything else? Some Ghibli stuff, it seems. The Big O. Actually, it kind of makes sense. Yeah.
I mean, again,
Made in Abyss.
Oh.
Yeah. No, but I mean, you just look at the staff for this movie. There's people everywhere. It's Toshiyuki Inoue did part of the animation, the key animation for it, and fucking his nickname is literally the perfect animator. So that very much just says everything. That's a nickname he got because he is very good at what he does, but he's not just good. He is good at delivering really good animation really fast. So it's that's why they just decided to call him the perfect animator.
Yeah, this has a superstar staff.
Yep.
You go into it and start clicking on names. You're like, man, they did that. That guy did that. Oh my god.
Mm-hmm.
All masters of their craft, it seems. And it definitely shows in how Jin-Roh was presented, right? Everything was absolutely perfect in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Just it's an Oshi story, so or an Oshi based.
Oh man, the evolution in the explosions and Molotovs is just like, damn. Someone spent a lot of time researching explosions and how to throw Molotovs online.
Now that's a nice search for fucking search history.
He was people in the. He was definitely in some list somewhere.
Molotov. How to make a Molotov.
Yeah, it's like
Molotov explosions.
Can you
Molotov
imagine,
explosion
like,
results.
The police just looking at the guy who's searching history. Of course, not in the internet because it was really at the beginning.
They checked out his library card. That's
the library card is like communist revolts of 1950s, terrorist attacks in the 1950s. How to make
we got him, boys.
How to make bombs. How do suicidal bombers explode? It's like,
All right. I don't have much else to say about Jin-Roh other than I would describe it to a person who likes history, a lot of twists on classic stories, in this case, Retrogaming. The original German story, not the one that a lot of people are more familiar with now, with it more childbearing, right?
Child friendly.
Just like every story.
Yeah,
Fairy
Little Mermaid is not a child story. It's also not
Definitely
good, but
not.
anyways.
None of his fucking stories are child friendly.
So, despite my loss of interest in it, I still quite enjoyed it. It was easy to watch. I was very impressed with a lot of things. It was an interesting twist on a classic story. I'm a little annoyed that I have to kind of go out of my way to fill in gaps of the story, but that is to say, I'm still very much interested in doing that. So I'll have to check out.
As someone who did that, it is worth it. Honestly,
yeah.
Well, except the live action movies, they are weird. They're eccentric. Let's put it like that. But
okay,
I guess to fill up all the gaps, because come on, if you're gonna read the manga, to know what really happens in Jin-Roh, might as well see the end of the story, which are the live action movies.
Oh boy. So I'll give it a very good 8 out of 10. With because it is a side story. I did have my issues with it, but it's very good regardless of my negative aspects of it. So there you go. That's my score.
All right. I think I'll give my score next. I mean, my feelings are largely the same as yours, JD, except in my case, it didn't quite cause me to be interested to find the other side stories.
Okay.
I mean, it's a technically great movie, like we discussed. Great animation, great sound design, great attention to detail, and good art style, too. I mean, these characters actually look human.
It's very true. But
yeah, the characters and storytelling just didn't quite grab me, and ultimately, I think I actually have to give it maybe a 7 out of 10, maybe a 6. I don't know.
Oh no, the horror 7 out of 10.
Oh no, you only thought it was good. Oh,
I recognize it's a good movie. It's just not my kind of movie.
And that's fair. Totally fair.
Yeah, well, next time we're just gonna get something with moe girls for you.
He said next time. I'm joking.
Jokes on you. I'm ending my life from today.
Whoa! All right.
Just
okay,
kidding,
so I can give my score then, I guess. Yeah. No. I really enjoyed this. I really enjoyed this movie. I had a good time. Like, there are parts of it that I feel like could have been done better. Maybe could have done with I don't know. It's just like we said multiple. It's a technically really good movie. I absolutely fucking love the design of the of the Wolf Brigade, like the armor. God damn it, I want to piss myself every time I see them. They're so scary. I love it.
Human Gundams, man.
They are way scarier than Gundams.
Oh yeah, like when they're doing that training and Fuse just slams against the wall and breaks in.
Yeah.
It's like, god damn. Man, the weight in that scene. God,
Oh yeah.
How the fuck do they stand upright? Anyways, yeah. No, I really enjoyed this movie, so I gave it an 8 out of 10.
Oh, there you go. Same thing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really have anything to add. It is one of the technically, in the technical side of things, it is probably one of the best movies out there. Really, like, I can think of anything that is better with sound designs and way to anything. Even the characters standing still, you can feel the weight of a person there. The voice acting is not that good, but I think that is honestly the only thing I've struggled with. The first time I've watched it, I already knew a little bit of the background. Didn't know that much. Like now that I've watched it and I've read the manga and watched live action movies.
Mm-hmm.
But it's still, the first time I gave it a 9 out of 10. I think I'll keep that score because it is really good, really, really good, and you should seek to at least know what happens in the main story because it's also very interesting and really, really good. Probably not as good as Jin-Roh, but because you still have Mamoru Oshii weird sense of humor in the story, and yeah, those kind of things can be detrimental to a story just like the manga of Ghost in the Shell, which Mamoru Oshii took the movies to another level. But yeah.
All right, so that comes out to an 8 out of 10. Very good score.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, well, it's fine. Join us for the last cast of 2019, where we are going to review the original Dragon Ball
Ooh.
Mark 1.
Cool.
Hooray.
Hooray. I can't wait to watch Dragon
We're doing a
Ball.
shonen anime, guys.
Oh my god.
I just want to say,
I'm glad we're doing such an unknown show as well.
I tried to watch in Japanese, I couldn't do it. I'm gonna watch dubbed.
Yes, you're watching the dubbed, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm watching Brazilian dub, but yeah.
Even better. Get your Portuguese on, man.
There's no way to watch in Japanese. It's just way too weird. It's Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball is meant to be watched in your native language.
Not for me, it isn't.
Oh yeah, you didn't have a childhood. I forgot about that.
I didn't have Dragon Ball. That's what you mean.
Oh, that sucks. Try to find a fan dub.
No. I've watched Norwegian fan dubs. They're awful.
Oh boy.
We'll look forward to everyone getting their wishes granted and panties dropped in episode 64 next time. This was episode 63 of Jin-Roh. See you next time, guys.
Peace.
Bye now.
See ya.